Our team, our community. This is CondorsTown, and this is another Energy Condors connection. Now, here's Erik Fox and Ryan Holt.
Happy Tuesday morning, B-Town. What up? It's Erik Fox from Energy 95.3, other side of the split screen. My brother from another mother, Ryan Holt from the Bakersfield Condors. How you doing this morning, my friend?
I'm good. Last week before the All-Star break, so we got a lot to get to.
Yeah, we do have a lot to talk about. Let's do as we always do. We talk about the Oilers first, the parent organization. Like we were saying before we went live, neither one of us would say, 16 games would be possible, let alone doable. But Edmonton continues to get on that roll of winning 16 right now. They've leaped over the Kings in the standings. And where is the ceiling here?
The ceiling is the division. I don't think it's attainable on the 16-game win streak. I think the Oilers have picked up 4 points on Vancouver, who are still, I think, 12 points up. But the Oilers have like 4 or 5 games in hand. So it certainly is possible. Are the Oilers a playoff team? Yes. Should they be in the top 2 conversation for home ice in round 1? Absolutely. But I think it's, they put themselves in a good spot here. They've gotten back to where, they should be before the break. And, they put themselves in a good spot going into a busy February and a busy March coming up here for not only them, but for us as well, too. So, they've done a great job of playing good defensively first. They've gotten really good goaltending from Skinner and Pickard, which has been helpful. And then they've obviously had the offense that we all knew was there kind of kick into high gear here over the last couple of weeks.
Now, we both love Coach Jay, but do you think maybe that coaching change at the start of the year was kind of a catalyst to where we are now?
Maybe. I'm still, of the belief, for my own personal opinion that, I think the Oilers were going to be the Oilers, no matter what. I think there was just too much, talent in that dressing room. There was too much talent all over, but, credit where credit's due. Chris Knoblauch has come in and done a heck of a job, really, righting the ship and then, letting things take off here over the last couple of weeks. It's been a fun team to watch. There's a lot of former Condors having great years. Evan Bouchard and Stu Skinner probably at the top, but Ryan McLeod's having another great year as well, too. And, some guys who were underperforming early on in the year are now overperforming and are getting back to where they should be. And that's what you see over the course of a season. Now, it is a results business, and sometimes you don't get to see that through. And that's what happened. And, thankfully the team's turned it around because, as I always say, things are a lot better when the Oilers are winning for all of us in the organization.
Let's talk about the All-Star break and how important it is to have that momentum that they have. You have that break of games where sometimes, it's if you're in a losing streak, it's pretty rough to get excited to come back. But when you got this, what's that momentum and excitement like?
Yeah, like some teams are heading into their bye week and their All-Star break week, like the Kings or the Devils, and they're kind of sitting around going, well, what team are we? The Oilers are going into it going, okay, let's get everyone healthy. 3, 4, 5 days away from the rink is good for anybody, especially in the NHL. You don't practice much in the NHL. You play, you travel, you play, you travel, you play. Granted, it is, 5-star hotels and chartered planes, but, it is, even for, our guys next week, just to get away from the rink for 2-3 days and not have any responsibilities, even if you don't do anything, even if you just hang out with the family, maybe take a trip to the beach, do something, just get away from the rink because, I don't think people realize how much time guys spend at the rink. Our guys are here at 8 a.m. and they leave, at 2:00 on a normal day. On a game day, they're here from, 8 to 12 and then, from game time through midnight. So it's not, it's not an easy thing, especially when, as you mentioned, if you're losing, it's tough coming to the rink every day. But when you're winning, it's fun. But it is, this break for the Oilers is good just to recharge. They had some new additions here, Corey Perry the last couple of weeks and Dylan Holloway coming back into the lineup. So that was good to get them back in before the break. And then after the break, be able to kind of roll from there.
Let's go and talk about the local stuff because obviously this is the Condors connection. Let's talk about the Baco Birds. Since we talked last, Kind of a topsy-turvy kind of week. We knew we had to get that win over San Jose. Unfortunately, San Jose had the numbers, and then a split with Abbotsford. Let's start talking about the San Jose game first and what you saw.
Yeah, it was a 500 week, which isn't the worst of the worst, or the the best of the best, obviously. But I mean, it's 12-2-3 in the last 17 games, if I can do my math quick, and it's points in 9 straight at home. This is playing really good hockey. They really are, and I know it still says they're in 8th place. Believe me, I wake up every day going, "How is this team still in 8th place?" But you look at the standings. If I can, let me see if I can, so I can. Because if you look at the standings, the Condors are actually 4th in points percentage, which is how you're going to justify, where you are in the standings at the end of the day.
Right.
Games in hand, which is 12 points on Coachella Valley. That's 6 games the Condors are going to play that Coachella Valley isn't going to play. And the Condors have 11 points to make up. That's on the top of the division. So right now, the Condors are still well within striking distance if they just win their games in hand of catching everybody in the division without them being able to do anything about it. So, tough one to lose against San Jose. I thought the team played well against Abbotsford on the weekend, which was a bright spot because that's been a tough team for us historically to play against. But, now it's another big week, right? Tucson is as good as anybody in our division, and then Texas is as good as anybody in the Central Division for what that's worth. So it's going to be a tough trip, but, another week where, it's kind of another test, right? We kind of mentioned it, last week, with 2 in Colorado, Calgary, and Ontario. How's the team going to kind of respond out of that? Well, they went in, split with Colorado, and then swept Calgary and Ontario. So every time they've had kind of a bar to raise, they've been able to meet it.
Let's talk about the Abbotsford because, like you said, that's a team in which has kind of been a really tough one to play. Very close games, but we did get the split. What were you seeing out there?
Yeah, it was a big goal late from Ben Gleason to force overtime, get a point on Saturday. I thought the team played well. I thought the team played better Saturday than they did Friday. And that's just the way it goes. But, yeah, it's always going to be tight games with Abbotsford. But I think what you've seen is the offense is starting to come to life, for the Condors. They're top 13 in goals for, they're top 10 in goals against. The numbers are starting to even out to where they should be. The power play has been red hot. It's top 6 in the league right now. It's been a fun team to watch. And to believe it, I think there's still more offense from the forward group. I think some guys still haven't hit their stride offensively. Now, defensively, the team has been, kind of, built from the back end out all year long, but you're starting to see offense from the D lately. Broberg and Gleason have been, next world here for this team the last couple of weeks. So it's been a fun team to watch. It's getting really good goaltending with Ollie and Jack Campbell. And this is a team that's going to make noise. There's no doubt about it. I'm a firm believer in it. We're halfway through the year tomorrow. And, the Condors are probably right where they should be, which is probably 3rd or 4th in the league. And that's with, some roster movement that kind of unsettled things a little bit. And now it's, clicking on all cylinders.
Let's talk about the Tucson Prep, which is the home game going on tomorrow night. What's that matchup looking like? Because Tucson has been a little tough one this year.
Yeah, it's a high-scoring team. We beat them twice in Tucson at the end of October, and I think those were the last 2 games they dropped back-to-back. So they don't lose much. They beat us here in overtime on this streak where we have points in 9 straight at home. We haven't lost in regulation at home since mid-December. It's been a good run here for Bakersfield, but Tucson's a tough team. They score a bunch of goals. They give up a lot of goals as well too. So it's a kind of a track meet style game. They enjoy playing in those type of games. We're kind of the opposite, obviously, just based off the way we play. But it's a stylistic matchup. It's one that we've had success with over the last couple of years, especially in Tucson. But it's a good matchup. And Tucson's one of the teams that's going to be there in the end. And, they're a team that, is going to get a top 4 seed. I don't think there's any doubt about this. And we'll see what happens tomorrow night.
Let's go and talk about that Texas road trip as well, because, we see usually the same teams over and over again. That's just how the schedule works. But then you have something like this, a Texas road trip, where a team where you're going to see them once a year, but you're seeing them 2 times back-to-back for that trip. What's the prep like for a team in which you normally don't play against?
Yeah, it'll be good to, get out of the division. I think everybody else has gotten out of the division and had success. The Central isn't as good, this year. It's just the way it is. You look at the top, I think 7 teams in the Western Conference, 6 of them are Pacific teams. There's only Milwaukee is on a heater right now. Texas started off really hot. They've kind of faded, a bit here as of late. They're still a very good team. Again, another offensive team. This is they have a lot of young, prospects with Stankoven and Maverick Bork, who have, torn up the league. Defensively, they don't have, the depth they had at one point because we have Ben Gleason and they had Ben Gleason the last 5 years. So, we stole him from them and he gets to go home and have a bit of a homecoming here on the weekend. I'm sure he's looking forward to that. And we all are. It's fun to step out of the division. I know it's a long travel day and things like that, but it is fun to play different teams. It's fun to play, in Austin. It's a cool place to play. And, we'll see what happens this weekend. But the guys will be jazzed up because, it's Gleason's homecoming, but it's also the final 2 games before the break. And the last thing you want to do is going into the break, as we talked about, kind of not playing your best hockey.
Gotcha. Let's go and talk about the game tomorrow night. People want to check it out as Tucson is in B-Town.
Yeah, it's a Wings and Craft Beer Wednesday. We've got $5 jumbo wings. So there's 3 of them for $5 or a 12-ounce craft draft beer for just $5 as well, too. 6:30 puck drop. Doors open at 5:30, and tickets are just $15.
And you can get them where?
Condors.com. Easiest way to get them. Don't even have to come down to see us. You don't have to see anybody in person anymore. It's terrible.
Yeah, that's one of the good things of COVID. Everything could just be done this way.
Everything's all digital. You can do it all.
And phone, let's talk about the weekend in Texas. People want to check out the game. What do they need to do?
Yeah, it'll be. Those are happy hour with Holt weekends because it's a 5:00 Pacific start Friday and Saturday, AHL TV, and then we're off for a couple of days. We'll enjoy the All-Star break and get set for next week against San Jose.
Love it. Once again, Ryan Holt from the Bearsville Condors. My name is Erik Fox from Energy 95.3. Every single week, we get you caught up on all things CondorsTown right here with your Energy Condors connection. We will see you next week.